Hello and welcome to another Shader Sandwich Quick Tip. My name is Sean Butker, and today I'll be showing you how to create this Toon shader that you can see here. So, it's very cartoony. There's not much else to say really, it's a cartoon shader. Alright, well let's delve right into it. So, we're going to open up Shader Sandwich and create a new shader. And this is what the default diffuse one looks like, so you can definitely see it's a lot more cartoony. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to create the outline first. So we can go into settings and turn on shells. So we're going to use this shell as the outline. We're going to make it appear behind the object. To do this, what we can do is we can set its culling mode to back. So what this will do is it will create it and make it look like this. It looks pretty bizarre, but don't worry, we'll be making it look correct later. So now what we can do is we can go into our layers, shell, and then add a new layer into the diffuse channel, and then just make it black. So there you go, we've got our outline. Now for this sort of outline you'll probably want to have a low distance. I'm just going to add an input so I can adjust it. You're going to want to have a low distance because otherwise it will look kind of funny. However, if you're looking for a thicker rim, what you can do is disable in front and Z right. So what this will do is make all the parts of it appear behind the model. So that way it just ends up looking like this, which can be a look you want. So, feel free to experiment. For this tutorial though, I'm going to have these both turned on. I'm just going to have a very low distance of 0.01, or maybe 0.02. Yeah, that's good. Alright, so, we got the basis out of the way, so now let's work on the lighting. So, to do Toon lighting is pretty simple. In later versions there will be more advanced control, but for now we have this thing called Disable Normals. And what this does is it disables the normals of the object. It creates flatter lighting. So basically, instead of being shadeless, it will still react to lights. Like if I put a red light here, it would still look redder. However, the entire object will look more red, instead of just the parts that are facing that light. So what we can do is just add an input for disable normals, and we can just crank this up depending on how much we like it. So I'm going to go with something like this for now. Something like that. Yeah, it looks good. Okay, so we're almost there. However, we're missing a little bit of depth. You could remember in the original one, it had sort of these nice streaks coming out around these. So we can do this really easily. So head on into Layers, into Mask. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a mask, which will be used to control where the streaks appear. We can then apply this mask to whatever color we want. So add a new layer in our mask, and I'll rename it to Rim. So what we'll do is we'll set this layer to be a gradient, and map it to the rim light. So now if we head back into our base, we can add a new layer, and we can set its mask to this rim. Finally, we can actually make it black. So that looks like this, not quite right. What we want to do is make this rim light thinner. We can do this really easily. So head on back into the rim mask, scroll down to the bottom, and add the Maths Power effect. So now we can just add an input, so that it's easier to mess around with, and just crank it up a bit. See? Something like that. Finally, if this isn't strong enough, we can also add a multiply effect directly afterwards. So what this will allow us to do is to strengthen up the part that is there. So that way it doesn't become larger, but it does become stronger, see? So we might want to set up something like this maybe? Something like that works okay. And yeah, there you go. So it was a pretty short tutorial, but hopefully it's helpful. There are lots of other effects you can add to your Toon shader, which I might cover in a later video, but I think it looks pretty good. Right, well, thanks for watching. See you guys later.